Hello. I'm slightly surprised because the intro just froze on my screen, so I had no idea what was going on there. But I think we're live. Everyone's looking at me and seems to be moving, so we're going to go with that. Hello, welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, the Absolutely EFL Show on Thursday. But we're going to talk FA Cup as well today, so it's very exciting. Of course, hope you're all having a wonderful week. And I'm here with a band of merry. What a team of people here that we've assembled this evening. To my left, the man, the mystery, his first appearance in 2026, as we were saying. He's ready and primed. Aaron is with us. Aaron, how are you, mate?
Hello, mate. Yeah, happy New Year to the podcast, I guess. Yeah, a lot's been going on to kick off the year, but I'm happy to be back now. I'm happy to be chatting FA Cup, and yeah, it's been a while since Oldham have had a competitive game of football, so I might be a little bit rusty, but the Storms kind of put pay to that for the last 2 weeks. So on Saturday it'll be 16 days since we last played a competitive game of football. So yeah, long time, but I'm ready to get back into the swing of things.
That's quite a work. That's quite a while. Stupid postponements, but there you go. More games to wait for. You see, you now have more games before the end of the season, so you'll have plenty to do. You won't be bored. And a man who won't be bored, he's probably fed up at the sight of me because we've been podcasting together for what a while, but we're here together. Ant is back. How are you doing?
Sam, I will never, ever tire of seeing your face, mate.
I love it.
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Glad to hear it. And I can officially tell you that Ant and I will be revealing the special episode that we did that will be coming out on Sunday at the end of the episode. So, keep your eyes peeled for that. Some might say don't scratch your eyes, potentially, but keep them peeled as well. We'll see for the end of the episode.
Do not scratch your eyes.
Do not scratch your eyes. And of course, bringing our quartet together as well for the first appearance in 2026 as well. Dreety is here. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, first pod of 2026 feels a bit weird, I can't lie. I'm still trying to get into the swing of it being the new year. It don't feel right to me. But yeah, happy to be on. Not talking Bradford City today, so stay tuned for that because that will be coming another day. Because this week has been hell for us, so I will not go into that. But yes, I'm good, thank you.
We promised Dreety that she can have a Bradford transfer-free evening. So, just to make you aware, don't expect we're going to be going into that in any detail, just to give her a bit of a break. But yes, there's plenty to chat about because there's all stuff going on, and we'll talk transfers as well. Things happen, but it's not just us. Wonderful people in the chat. Graham is with us this evening. Good evening to you. Good evening to Simon in the chat as well. Simon being waved at by Graham being waved at by Simon. Isn't it lovely? And Spinning Fan Chris waving all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina as well. And there you go. And a wave for him from good. Look, it's just waves and love in the chat. Magic. But not as magic as the magic of the FA Cup third round. And we're going to start with probably the biggest shock. Are we allowed to call this the biggest shock in the history of the FA Cup as the holders, Crystal Palace, knocked out by non-league Macclesfield. Aaron, should we come to you first? So your first contribution of the year can be for the biggest shock of the FA Cup ever. Wow.
I mean, somewhere to start, right? I mean, so I watched the game, and quite a lot of these types of games, you think the Premier League side has a lot of the pressure and kind of, like you would imagine Mac kind of holding on, but I didn't see the game like that really. I really thought Mac were real good value for the win, and they were just good at what they do. They made it awkward for Crystal Palace. Obviously, some of Crystal Palace's players, for the standard that they have been playing at over the last couple of years, they weren't good at all. I think it's probably the worst game I've ever seen Adam Wharton have for Crystal Palace. Whether that's the pitch, I don't want to start, making external factors, but it's interesting because obviously the captain of Macclesfield has been having a lot of different podcast episodes since the game on Saturday, and I remember he said a story. I don't know if you've seen it come out, but he said a story that before the game, Franny Jeffries, who is assistant manager, he turned around to Mark Gay in the tunnel and said, "How's the pitch for you?" And apparently, allegedly, Mark Gay said the pitch isn't a bit of me. And they said from that moment onwards, he knew that they had like a bit of a psychological edge. So I find stuff like that really interesting. But look, you have to give enormous credit to Mac because like they've had probably, as a group can be, they've probably had the worst circumstances of a season, you know, losing Ethan in the way they did. And in a strange way, grief can bound people together and make a squad even stronger. And I think from what I've been reading and listening to, every one of them players have said that that's kind of what drove them on and what got them over the line. And, you know, we can talk about Crystal Palace being bad and maybe severely underestimating Macclesfield, but I don't think we should take any of the shine off Macclesfield because, like I said, they were well valued for the money and they got rewarded again, didn't they, with another Premier League side at home. So that's what it's about. And, you know, the financials that will come with that are so vitally important for a team like Macclesfield as well. So, yeah, full power to them for sure.
Yeah, absolutely massive performance. I did see the same thing about the Mark Gay comments. Allegedly, that's what was said in the tunnel. And to be honest, he could have even just made it up, you know, just to get his guys ready in the dressing room, anything to kind of give a bit of extra. But I mean, we've got, and we will point to it because Graham, of course, with his massive love for Crystal Palace, will remain professional as a Charlton fan in the chat, and therefore stepped up with his. Multiple laughing sad emojis. I'll give that. I mean, and yeah, as answers there. So how you feel, Graham. Incredible. We'll start with Macclesfield. We won't get to Crystal Palace just yet because we need to laud in Macclesfield as well. And like, and as Aaron was saying, like with what happened to Ethan McLeod, football just sometimes brings things full circle because, you know, the rawness of that, the emotion of that, and then to go and do this against Crystal Palace, whose last game was at Wembley lifting a cup. Like, you just can't. This is why we love football, and you just can't write beautiful stories like this, can you?
If anyone ever doubts the magic of the FA Cup, despite what the FA have done, moving quarterfinals to midweeks and all this palaver, then just look at that. FA Cup third round, the team from the 6th tier up against the winners, the holders. And, you know, you can take form out of the equation, anything like that. You know, any Crystal Palace side they put out should have been Macclesfield. It is what it is. And to turn them over 2-1, and deservedly so as well. Deservedly so, as Aaron put before. It wasn't as if it was a backs-to-the-wall job. There could have been 3 or 4-0 up the chances that they had. And, you know, fair play at them. You know, it's tremendous for the FA Cup. It's tremendous for them. You know, they're going to get another big money day because they've got Brentford having them in the 4th round, so that'll be another one on the telly. So amazing for them, absolutely brilliant. Tough for the manager as well. Obviously, it's Wayne Rooney's brother, isn't it? And Wayne Rooney was in the crowd. It was just all meant to be, wasn't it? Like it was just fantastic, you know, really, really good. And yeah, you know, as I said, for Spenny Frank was put there for Ethan McLeod as well, absolutely amazing. And fair play to them. Like I really hope we beat Brentford as well. To be fair, but you can never take that moment away. And as you said at the start, for me, I mean, I've watched the FA Cup for years, and there has been them shocks, you know, like you know Wickham getting all the way through. I think Lincoln a few years ago when they got through quarterfinals, I think. But this is the biggest shock ever for me. Like you know, a team from that low down against the winners of the trophy, they all probably went there thinking they were going to win, just show up and win. Yeah, absolutely amazing. You know, a real good, you know, shot in the arm for the FA Cup. So, yeah, brilliant. Well done, Macclesfield. Excellent.
Massive. It was 117 places below the holders. Absolutely mad.
It's the biggest gap, isn't it, ever, I think, in terms of the biggest gap of like a win between two sides in the competition. So, yeah, that probably in itself puts it down as the greatest factual FA Cup result of all time, doesn't it? Because of the gap.
Yeah, massive. Definitely mind the gap on that one. But I know, and what was amazing, I thought, looking at the end, you could see like the crowd, like and people turning around to each other, sort of the disbelief of like, and that kind of last couple of moments or whatever. You know, of course, you know, Bradford have done 1 or 2 of those in their time as well, so they're positive memories. But was that kind of? Did you feel the same tensions and nerves for them in the last couple of minutes?
Yeah, I was watching like the last little bit of the game and I was just like, oh my God, I really want Macclesfield to do it. It's just like, no disrespect to Crystal Palace, but you love a good underdog story, especially in the FA Cup. I think I'm very fortunate to have been in attendance when Bradford beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and I know what it felt like for all of our fans who were there. I know what it felt like for the fans back home, and it's like, that feeling that you've just done it is just so surreal. And I think obviously the fans going on the pitch, that's going to stick with them for the rest of their lives. That, like, them on that pitch being like, I was there when that happened. Like, they'll go 5-10 years down the line, but like, I was there at like the biggest FA Cup shock in history. And yeah, fair play to them. There's like, I don't think a club deserved it more in that moment, especially what happened with Ethan. I think everything just came together in that moment, and you just knew that, like, in football as well, there's so many stories to be told, and that's like the best story that could have come out of what happened with Ethan.
Yeah, definitely, and just the rising of a Phoenix club as well, with what happened to them. The loss of Macclesfield Town and coming back through. I mean, Spenny fan Chris saying what a lovely story for those Macclesfield fans after the original club folded. They've made history now. Husky's asking, what was the betting price to beat Palace? I don't know, but it was probably quite large. Quite large. I'd hazard a guess. Maybe one or two of them were on it as well. Who knows? But absolutely crazy. Graham is still very disappointed in the chat, of course. He had to listen to Crystal Palace winning the cup and being praised last year, so he's going to thoroughly enjoy this episode. Yeah, for Palace, that's a real kick in the goalies, isn't it? I mean, to be, they were the underdogs themselves of the cup last year. The win and all of that. What a turnaround! I mean, we cover them regularly on a Tuesday, and they're no joke. Like Palace, if you get a result against Palace, you put in a performance, and we've seen them dip off a little bit recently, and I think some of that is down to the thin squad and the number of games. But that's a real, how do you bounce back from that embarrassment, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're expecting a reaction, aren't you, on Saturday? I, for one, am hoping there isn't a reaction because they play us. So I'm hoping, it's an FA Cup hangover and stuff like that. We're at home, so I do fancy this. But it's a strange one with Palace because you've had all the issues with Mark Gay at the start of the season in August, sorry. And then, he decided he was going to stay. I don't know if it was like he was going to leave for a free or whatever. But then, the start of the season really well, didn't I? think they won the first 5 or something, or unbeaten or whatever. They were second in the table. And then they've steadily dropped off. They haven't been playing particularly well in Europe. I think that's what's affecting them. I think it's like the Thursday, Sunday thing is happening quite a lot where, they're having to, play 2 games in 4 days or whatever. And then we'll see, and then, trying to, with a very thin squad. It isn't as if they've got a thick squad. Fingers crossed, mate, yes. But, yeah, I mean, it is, the Mateta hasn't scored many, has he, this season? He's normally their talisman. Adam Wharton hasn't been as good as what he should be, especially with an FA Cup year, World Cup year. I can't see him getting in that squad now, I've got to be honest. And then obviously the question marks over the manager who's out of contract at the end of the season and openly said he doesn't think he's staying. So it's the thing of the players would be like, well, if he's not stopping, why should we, why should we, put this 110% in? You expect that as footballers, they should be doing it, but is that the case? I don't know. But yeah, like I said, we've got to expect a reaction on Saturday. Like there'll be no way they'll be as bad again. But we'll see what happens. But it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassment for them. And the gaffer came out and said, didn't he? I should have probably put the under-18s out and they would have given us a better game. He's not wrong because they were poor. They were really, really poor. Don't know if it was the underestimated Macclesfield. I just thought the show up and win. We saw a lot of that over the weekend, I thought. Even with teams who'd won, who were being a little bit taking the mick kind of stuff. Dom Schobber's lie comes to forefront in my mind there with what he did.
That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen on a football pitch ever, by the way.
And maybe that's what it was. It was just we just need to show up, and then weren't expecting the blood and thunder of what Macclesfield brought, and then when they went 2-0 up, yeah, they played a little bit better, but they never looked as if they were going to equalise, did they? Really, so really, really strange. But yeah, see what happens on Saturday.
Very strange performance indeed, and one they're now in the history book, so they are still the FA Cup holders, but they ain't winning it this year. But Macclesfield might, because they're still in the draw.
I think what was so magical about it as well is there's so many non-league stories within the fixture, in the sense of the defender that scored the first goal is also a teacher, and he spoke about how he was going back to school and all the pupils will now see him as a hero and all this and all that. And then you also had, you had the chairman after the game saying that he bought the football club after a 3-day bender on Rightmove, and he could never have imagined, like it come to this. And I just think that is what, not just non-league is about, but that is what the FA Cup's about, isn't it? Just them stories, them little storylines,
Yeah, it is. It's those storylines and all the stuff that's under it. And it does so much for the club. Like I remember saying, obviously Ben talks a lot about the Maidstone one a few years ago. And he said, things like they were buying a new boiler and things like that, which seems like, but for them, like massive strides and can really sort of put the club in a real sort of strong position going forward. And yeah, what a story. What a story. Absolutely love it. Of course, there was many other games in the FA Cup. So we're gonna scoot through all of those. Not every single one, because we'll be here until midnight, but we'll pick some of the key ones that we want to talk about in the same style we usually do for the league. So who would like to go first? Dreety, would you like first pick of the board from this first page? Would you like anything that you'd like to pick out from all of these magical results? The P's do relate to penalties if you're unclear with the P's. Welcome to the P's. They don't normally join us.
I wouldn't say it's like a shock, but I'd say Port Vale and Fleetwood, I think, because Port Vale needed that. They've been struggling massively in the league, and I think for them, having a little bit of a cup run could help them out this season. I do think it's going to be relegation for them, unfortunately. I do like Port Vale, but I think it will be. But I think if they can do all right in Cup, I think that's something to help them out this season. And then I think the Wolves and Shrewsbury Town one, that's ridiculous, isn't it? 6 goals is ridiculous. Obviously, we'll go on to the other one with the more goals in it, but that's just ridiculous, isn't it? Especially how Wolves' season's going as well. It's like, that's, fair.
Yeah, that's it. Wolves have probably been playing about the level of Shrewsbury half of the Premier League, so I mean, they may have had a better game, but they have picked up a little bit recently. So, yeah, that's a bit of a shocker. When I did spot there, Bournemouth, Burton out, because I thought that might be a possible. If there was going to be something, Burton have been a bit shaky. Bournemouth would have been on a great run. When I even had a little sort of cycling through a couple of the odds before the game, and Bournemouth were heavy favourites as well. Heavy favourites with the bookies for that one, considering the difference and thinking, that's maybe they're onto something here. And then Burton put them to the sword pretty comfortably in the end, sort of 5-0. But anything for you, Ant, off of this board? Do you want to? I mean, you get to talk about Sunderland today, technically, because it is the FA Cup, if you'd like.
Yeah, I was gonna pick out that one. I must admit, the Wrexham and Forest game I thought was excellent. By the way, watched that one on I think it was Friday, and it was a fantastic game of football. Both went for it. Both had fantastic squads as well. Both put out good sides, so fair play. And Wrexham, doing things, aren't they? They have a really good Christmas, haven't they? So fair play to them. But yeah, I'll have a word about something because I did go. It was lovely. What a beautiful stadium that is as well as Hill Dickinson. Very, very nice. The only problem is it's in the middle of like the docks. It's literally you're walking past like industry and people at work, and then there's a football ground. You're like, what? But yeah, it was class. It was a lovely stadium. I didn't get to meet Rebecca, unfortunately, because she went in a little bit earlier, and we were still in the pub. So I'm afraid that didn't happen.
You waved to her, did you, from the other end?
I did. I waved, and we took selfies. So we were both there. I thought we were excellent. Actually, I thought we dominated the game. To be honest, for 88 minutes. They had really good football. I wasn't impressed with Everton whatsoever, to be honest. I think they were missing a lot of players, and obviously a couple got suspended. And Michael Keane pulling hair. We don't like to see that. It was amazing that they actually appealed that. It was proper blatant. And then obviously Jack Grealish got sent off for giving the referee a round of applause. But no, we were good. I'm trying to remember who scored a goal. That's why I've been talking.
Too many beers.
Can't remember. Oh, it was Enzo. It was Enzo the Fair. Obviously,
the redemption arc.
Redemption after that ridiculous penalty against Brentford. Really good play by Elijah Mayenda, and he puts it into the corner, and the fans go mental. Fair play to him, and I'm glad that he started because I think that's what they needed to do just to get it out of his head. And then, like I say, we look really, really comfortable, and then the referee decides that. Trey Hume fouled one of their lads. It's never a foul. The only time I wanted VAR to be in to actually go and do something it didn't do. Never ever a penalty. They scored it. Extra time was a bit of an anomaly, to be honest. You knew it was going into penalties. And then up steps their penalty takers, Garner, Beto, and Barry, and all three. I think the first one's a good save from Robin Ross, don't get us wrong, but the other two practically pass backs. And then Enzo steps up first for us. Literally like, go on, Panenka Pickford, go on, just go for it. He didn't, to be fair. And then Granit Xhaka put Pickford on his arse, and then Luke O'Nien. We were on about stories and, FA Cups and stuff, and Luke O'Nien, who's been with us since the League One days, played our first ever game in League One, got subbed off at half-time, and then, what's happened with him since. Doesn't get that many games for us now, but he had a really good game actually on Saturday, looked really comfortable. And then getting the winning penalty, and you see how much it meant when he was emotional. He got the match ball and stuff, and onwards and upwards. We've drew Oxford away in the next round, so another winnable game. And there's a few tasty games in that in the fourth round. So we're on about Palace before, and Palace last year went quite under the radar, didn't it? They had a nice draw up until the quarters, and if we can just do that, because we're safe, we're not going down. So maybe a cup run could be on the horizon for us, because we're a difficult side to beat. So it makes us a very, very good cup side, because we're difficult to beat. So you never
don't
know.
Lose games, do you? And particularly if you end up with a couple of home draws towards this, no one's winning at the Stadium of the Light this season, are they? So
exactly. And get past Oxford. Oxford will be a difficult game. Don't get us wrong. Small, compact stadium. Fans will be wanting an upset, but I fancy us against Oxford, and then you never know what could happen. Avoid Manchester City and Arsenal, and I fancy us against anybody, to be honest. We'll have the Mags again in the fifth round, providing they get past Villa.
Tasty, wouldn't it? That would be tasty. Rebecca had her say to Graham on this and said they were the worst penalties she's seen from Everton. So she was I can't disagree, to be honest. They were pretty.
Yeah, I mean, Barry's especially. Yeah. And then Beto, I knew Beto was going to miss. You know what I mean? You just knew with his body language he was going to miss. Garner, I thought, would score because he'd already scored in normal time. And Barry just didn't look confident at all. So they both didn't look. Whereas our lads just, you know what, like it's all this like stop and starting and doing all this stepping up and all this stuff. Just running it as hard as you can. That's all our three lads did. They all went in against the best goalkeeper in the world. Wait, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So there you go.
This is it. It was a fantastic penalty shootout win. And Sunderland, they say, Oxford in the next round. Mr. Lucas joining us. He's on 0-0 patrol, which might be tricky because it's the FA Cup. So the Premiers will have at least gone to penalties. So, but we might have one in the league. Who knows coming up in a little bit. Just seeing what else we had. Spenny fan Chris obviously enjoying, and MK Don's going out there to Oxford United, and Graham saying Burnley and Wolves have found their level. Aaron, anything standing out to you? Any you want to pick out?
I was actually going to talk about the Burnley Millwall game just because I think it highlights. I don't want to come on here with like theories and stuff, but I've said it. There's a problem with the teams that struggle in the Premiership and the teams that are too good for the Championship. I've always put Burnley up there as one of them, and that result surprises me, but it also kind of doesn't, because Millwall are flying as well in the Championship. Let's not get that twisted. But Burnley look like they're going down without much of a whimper really at the minute. So it just shows. I think it shows the level and the disparity between doing well in the Championship and doing well and surviving in the Premier League, and that's why you have to give so much credit to teams like Sunderland for going. I know, I think the difference there this year was Sunderland went and spent money and give it a go, and they're reaping the rewards for it. But it just shows the sort of the level in difference, doesn't it, between the top level and doing well in the second division. So that kind of surprised me a little bit. And then I think everything else had been covered. Obviously, the Doncaster Southampton game looked like it was a bit of a corker, but I can't really comment too much on that because I didn't see much of it. I didn't see the goals or anything, but it looks like a decent effort from.
They came back well because Saints were 3-0 up and looked like it was all done and dusted, and it was a real good comeback in the second half. And the Saints were a bit shaky by the end, I think.
So yeah.
Yeah, some good results. I think you're right. It was, as you say, the Premier League champion, the ones that sort of struggle. But I also think it's almost like a bit of a free hit when they get to a cup game because the pressure's so hot when they're in the Premier League, and I think they're able to sort of play a little bit, and it sort of takes a bit of pressure. They rotate the squad a little bit, and certain players can just they can be a bit more expansive. Then you can be in the Premier League a bit as well, and I think then they almost enjoy it the afternoon out. I think, and then. and see how it goes. But yeah, for a great result for Burnley and for Wolves. I think we've touched on most of them there. I see Leicester beat Cheltenham 2-0. We had Wigan beat Preston.
Yeah, that's a tasty one in Lancashire.
That's a good little win.
Yeah, tasty little rivalry that. So that they'll enjoy the bragging rights over there, I think.
Indeed, and Fulham beat Middlesbrough 3-1 as well. Middlesbrough going okay in the Championship. So we move on to the next page of fixturinos. And yeah, we were saying about a team that kind of, teams that were sort of mucking around with squads and not really sort of focusing on it. And then we had Manchester City 10, Exeter City 1. And is that one of the biggest results ever in the FA Cup?
No, it doesn't even scratch the surface. No, you have to go way back to the 1800s for Preston 26, Hyde 0. So there you go, that's the biggest one. But it's the biggest one of this year so far. There we go. So, do you know what as well? And I know people will probably have a thinking on about Pep about this, because Pep put quite a strong squad out, considering they had Newcastle as well on Tuesday night in the League Cup. And the less said about that VAR decision, the better, by the way. But he did put a good, strong side out. Semenyo was playing. Semenyo made his debut. Haaland was playing. Didn't manage to get on the score sheet, but they had a good side out. But the goal of the game was by Exeter. What a fantastic strike that was. What a great goal and fair play. So, they'd have gone out there. Exeter have had, I know it's a hammering 10-1, but they'd have had a good day out to Manchester City. It's a lovely ground as well. The lads scored a lovely goal. So fair enough to them. But I think, when you're looking at that and Pep actually picking a really, really strong side, I think he's going for this as well, isn't he? So it's good to see, to be fair. It's not good for Exeter, obviously, you can make 10-1, but it's good to see. But on Exeter as well, we have given them, it's not fully signed and sealed yet, but we have sent one of our under-23 players, our team out to the air of, who's a Ukrainian winger who is absolutely lightning. And he's gone out there on loan, so I shall be looking at Exeter's games in the next few weeks and hoping that he does well. But yeah, fair enough to them, Mike.
Yeah, it's as you said, it was kind of nice that Pep had gone for it, because the manager's always getting criticised for kind of not. And I think there's something to that, where you get a situation where, because he was able to take Haaland off at half time, able to take these players off, get the job done, and then take it off, rather than having to bring them all on at the end when they're having to run hell for leather to try and get them back. And not that I think they were really in threat in that game, but they got it done. And if you'd have said that Haaland started, Manchester City scored 10, and he wasn't amongst the scorers, then you're a brave man or lady. You would have been very brave. That's for sure. Elsewhere on there, who should we go to? Aaron, would you like first dibs on what else is on the sheet?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting though, because I think it's down to a respect thing for me. I think, these lower teams would want to play against the best players. And I think I saw that lineup and I thought, wow, it's going to be a bit brutal. And it did turn out to be brutal. But surely Pep deserves the respect for respecting Exeter in a way that, he's not just throwing out all the kids and kind of expected them to get the job done, because them Exeter players will have memories and obviously it's not great to get battered 10-1, of course, but they'll still have, the shirt swapping of Howe and Semenyo, Nico O'Reilly, all these top stars. I think it just shows the mark of respect in the competition. For me, that's my opinion on it anyway. But I think I want to touch upon Grimsby, because although they probably should be beating Weston-super-Mare, they are, unfortunately, Sam, you know what's coming. They're in two competitions now ahead of United in both of them. So it's I think that's been an interesting.
I'm happy to be out because I didn't want them again. I was thinking I'm going to get Grimsby, and I'd rather just watch them beat someone else.
So yeah, there was that result, and I saw the highlights back of Charlton versus Chelsea, and obviously that was, very comfortable in the end. But it was 3 of the best strikes I've ever seen for 3 of the 5 Chelsea goals. They were 3 beautiful goals. So yeah, lots of goals on this page. Lots and lots of goals on the second page of our FA Cup scores.
Yeah, there was a lot of goals, and Chelsea, of course, had a decent game with Arsenal last night. Actually, that was quite an exciting one.
That was a great game. Yeah, yeah, it was.
They seem to be sort of quite free, and obviously Liam Rossinia's back managing since his stint at Hull, so we'll see how that one goes on. Follow that closely on a Tuesday, we will for sure. Dreety, any on there that catch your eye?
Well, Aaron took my one with Grimsby one. No, it's fine, don't worry. I was just going to say that I've been watching Grimsby a lot this season just because my favourite player is now there, Jamie Walker. I'm delighted for them. And I think as well, Western-super-Mare were incredible. Like, they really held their own. And I don't know if anyone spotted it, but Western have actually got Hergim 2 on the back of their shirt. So it was very nice to see the Hergim 2 on TV, which was quite surreal, actually, but it was very special. I'd say, for me, another one, it pains me to say it, but Leeds and Derby. I know it's a good win for Leeds, and it pains me to say that because I was praying that Derby would beat them. But yeah, fair play to them. Yeah, that's all I can say about Leeds. I'm not saying anything else.
Yeah. They won a game of football. Dreety's prepared to acknowledge it, and that's it.
That's it.
That's your heart. That's as much as you're getting. We've got Graham's here with his opinion of Chelsea. He said, gave a reasonable account of ourselves. Scoreline flattered them a bit with 2 in added time at the end. Wasn't a penalty, by the way. Difference in class was obvious.
I think he's right about the penalty. It probably wasn't. But no VAR in the FA Cup in the early rounds. So there you go.
What can you do? What can you do?
Exactly. Nothing
at all. I know some people sort of enjoyed it, so I think they enjoyed not having it. I think there was some comments. It depends how the decision went for you. I
didn't enjoy having it. We got absolutely. We would have been robbed if we had not won that game thanks to that decision. And we had a Premier League referee as well. Was the worst thing about it. How he thinks that's I'm going back now. How he thinks that's a penalty. It's absolutely beyond us, but never mind.
Do you think it's maybe because he's got so used to having VAR? He's just like, I don't really matter what I give here because we're going to have
But then don't make the decision. You do see that in the Premier League, don't you? Like, and when you see them when these Premier League referees drop down to like the Championship and stuff like that, they're scared to make the decision because they go, "Well, VAR sort it out anyway." But then he makes it. The fact he made it was beyond. I thought he was booting the other bloke for diving. But never mind. Just Aaron touched on good strikes. Did anyone see Stoke City's winner against Coventry? Because that was a strike and a half. That didn't half pick that out. Like it was a hell of a goal.
I seen the celebrations where they all just dived at 12 feet in his face.
They're all sliding in front of Lampard. I'm up for that. Like I'm up for a bit of shithousery.
Giving it a bit.
Wow.
Simon did touch on that. He said, his opinion was Stoke were crap. We were crap, and the game was won by one goal. Which is
certainly was decided by a goal, is what our our friends used to say. But what a goal! Like it was an absolute beauty. And then obviously Spurs and Villa as well. A bit of aggro after the game as well.
Yeah,
they've both been fined, haven't they? So
yeah.
You know what though, and I don't want to sound like a troublemaker in that, but like especially in the Prem, it's nice to see two Prem teams have a bit of argy-bargy and it not kind of, because that's all it was really. I mean, Rodgers looked like he was going to try and get to him at the end, but I think it was just a bit of, handbags at dawn. And it's maybe because you see that a bit more at League 2, League 1 level. It's nice to see the elite players do that and show a bit of emotion. And, I spoke about that game, and I think, for the first maybe 60, 70 minutes, Spurs were awful. Obviously, Morgan Rodgers on absolute fire, and then the front three from Spurs just decided it was like they all had a mental switch, and they were like, "Actually, we can play football." And Matthias Tell, I think it was Matthias Tell, Odeber, and who was on the other side? Anyway, there was the three of Simmons, Javi Simmons, and they were just playing some fantastic football. And I think, even though they lost the game, if Spurs can go and use that as a bit of a blueprint to attack teams on the counter with them three, they should be able to pick up a bit of form for the rest of the season. But yeah, fully deserved for Villa, and he is he's the master of European competition, isn't he? Unai Emery, and we need to see whether he can do it domestically. But they could be a good outside shout, I think.
They're actually my tip to win it. If they get past Newcastle anyway, I think they will, because they're at home. But they're my tip to win the FA Cup.
He's very good in that format, and he's very like everything you hear about him is the detail that he's in everything. He says like he loves it when he gets to sit down and kind of prepare. And I think I saw an interview with him the other day, and he was where we're talking about obviously managers and having their systems and having their set and stuff, and he completely recognizes that you've got to be versatile. He said it's always changing. He's what he had last week, someone's learned what you did last week, and you need to evolve your game constantly. So like I think he'll be. Yeah, I'd love to see Villa do it.
Just interested on them as well. Like they've got rid of that. Is it Malen who was playing in a big bald unit? Who's up front.
Yeah, he's gone to Roma.
He scored 7 goals for them this season. You know, played 18 games and scored 7 goals. Like, it wasn't as if he was like on the like peripheries of the squad and all that. Like he's actually been playing quite regular for them. So it's a bit of a
quick as well, really quick.
Yeah, unless they've got someone in like unless they're doing PSR or something like that, or they've got someone they're thinking of signing, like maybe getting Asensio back or something. But
I think they said he was frustrated because when Watkins came back in, he wasn't getting the same game time, and he was looking. I think he's like another looking at the World Cup, etc. Thinking, "Oh, I'm not playing." Bit shady. They've done this before, haven't they? Do you remember
John Duran?
They said John Duran, who was on fire. I've heard rumours of that they're particularly again with Roma. Tammy Abraham is a name that they've been linked with. Coming the other way, whether he's trying to sort of get himself in front of Thomas Tuchel's eyes again. But yeah, that's a strength. But Villa, I mean, they're playing fantastic football, and I like what you said, Aaron, about the aggro as well. At the end, you can tell Tottenham and their home fans at the minute, and the players in particular. There's a real disconnect because there's been a couple of flare-ups, hasn't there, recently, like between them. So definitely one to watch. Really excited. Graham's giving it the big uns to Stoke. Fancy dress day at Stoke. Fans came dressed as a red sea. Unbelievable scenes. Unbelievable.
And they missed an absolute world. Probably the best goal ever scored, the Britannia. And they've missed it.
I don't know when. Was it the home game when Peter Crouch scored that goal against City, against Joe Hart? That would have been at Stoke.
It might have been, What, the one on the turn?
Yeah, that was unreal, that.
Yeah, that was even as well to Sean Johnson as well. Hope you're doing well. And Simon was considering how cheap the tickets were. He was surprised a few Stoke fans turned up. It was more Coventry than them. But there you go.
You know what? Again, I'm going to go off on a slight tangent. It is a boring cup draw, and I don't mean to be horrible to Stoke or Coventry, but like they're playing a team in the league at home. I mean, I only went down to Everton because it was a new ground. You know, if we're playing at Goodison, I've been at Goodison loads of times, but it was a new ground, so I just went. I thought, I'm gonna have a look at this beautiful stadium. But Stoke at home. We had Stoke at home last season in the FA Cup, and there was 5,000 people there. I mean, it just says everything, and we lost. That just says it all, doesn't it? Like, it's just not. It's a game they have played each other like God knows how many times in the last like 3 to 4 years, and it's like just another game, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's fine when you get the championship games against each other in the cup as well. Because I think if it's a League One or even a League Two, because there's or if we suddenly we're in the fourth round and we've got more chance of getting that big name, there's something at the end of it. But I do think that when two championships draw each other in the cup, it lacks a bit unless they put on some fireworks. But right, next page of the final fixtures of the FA Cup third round that we had. Again, plentiful goals.
There's a 0-0 for Luke as well.
And 0-0 for Luke. There's something for everyone. There you go. No 0-0s. There's one here, just with a cheeky P by the side, but it was a 0-0. GT, which of these wonderful games would you like to address?
I'd probably say the Sheffield United Mansfield one. That really surprised me, and fair play to Mansfield. Like, that was a cracking game. I catch a bit of the highlights afterwards, but I genuinely thought Wilder were going to do something, and it didn't happen, and that actually fills me with a bit of joy. Me and him are just not. Yeah, no, don't like Wilder, but yeah, fair enough for Mansfield. Very, very well deserved, and I think they're a bit underrated this season, especially in League One. Like, they're the team that's kind of going a bit under the radar. So for them to get this win is huge for them.
Yeah, big one for them away at Sheffield United. And goals, we love a good goal fest. Goal fest always goes down well. And any exciting ones for you on that list?
Not really. Nothing exciting. The only
Stuff
thing
happened, but yeah.
yeah, the only thing, obviously, the Liverpool one with Szoboszlai. I mean, he scores an absolute worldie as well. The first
What a hit.
goal, absolutely fantastic hit. You're thinking, oh, like, you know, fair play, and then he does that, and I'm totally with what Conor Hurricane said after the game. Like, if they were playing anyone else playing anyone in the Premier League, he doesn't do that. You know what I mean? And it's really, really silly. And for me, as much as like, you know, like he's a great player in the stand, I'll be dropping him. Like, I'll be dropping him final week's wages for that. I'd just be saying, you're not doing that. Like, you took the absolute mick there. Do you remember when I think it was like pre-season a fair few years ago now, Balotelli tried to do that stupid like thing.
Did it twirl, didn't he?
Yeah, Mancini went off. Didn't he? That's what I would have done. I would have get off. You know what I mean? But probably that. But, you know, Liverpool, you know, ran out really, really easy winners did in the end. But, you know, Barnsley, I thought Barnsley played actually quite well. Even though they were up against us, I thought, you know, they've done the manager proud then, and all the struggling in the league a little bit. And hopefully this is the spurt that like kick them on a little bit. And that's probably it for me on that one. I think Drake's mentioned the Mansfield game. Yeah, I've got a little like for Mansfield because I've got family down there, and I'm chuffed that I can do that. Obviously, as well, Norwich, Josh Sargent refusing to play for them, so that could be a thing to look out for in the weeks to come. Shouldn't be doing that.
He's been linked back to MLS, isn't he? Because he wants to get in this America World Cup squad. There's a lot of that going on at the moment.
He's going to if he plays for Norwich, though, isn't he? Because he plays every week when he's fit. He's one of the best strikers in the league as well. You know, he's a really good player. But that's for me. That's poor form. That like you shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't refuse to play for your club. And then obviously Martinelli getting a hat trick, which was just sickening after what he did to Conor Bradley. You know, like there's no room for that. Absolutely no room for that at all. And obviously Conor Bradley's been ruled out for the season, hasn't he? So I know he never injured him, but the fact, you know, he's throwing a ball at him and then like trying to throw him off the pitch is just bad form. So yeah.
It was.
Sorry, Aaron, I've nicked all of them there. We'll talk about West Ham.
West Ham or Hull Blackburn, classic. Graham's giving Hull Blackburn with poo, which is an appropriate match description. It probably does. And Simon also, has brought up, if he hasn't been so hasn't yet, R.I.P. Terry Yorth, legend of the games. Sad to lose this week. Go on then, Aaron. Of the ones left.
Okay, so let me just go back and give my appreciation to a Barnsley player that I will be forever in my heart. Vimal Johanganathan. He's gone from winning the National League player final on the hallowed turf of Wembley to Anfield and shining at Anfield in the space of 6 months. So it felt me with pride to see him do that, because he absolutely changed our season last year, and without him we wouldn't be back in the league. That's what I wanted to say about that. But West Ham QPR, obviously this game had a little bit of geographical spice in it as well, I believe. So you know, as long as it doesn't boil over, they're the type of games that we enjoy, I guess. And as we said for, you know, Burnley and who else got a big win on the other page? It's escaped my mind. Wolves. Yeah. I think even though, you know, it's not as big, this could be a big turning point for Nuno and West Ham, you know, hopefully getting a bit of momentum but other than that, I think everything else has been taken. Obviously, for all the bad stuff from Martinelli in the actual game himself, he got his first hat trick as a professional in the professional football at his age, which I found quite an interesting statistic, and it shows if something's not broken. If something's not broken, don't fix it. In terms of, was it 2 or 3 of Arsenal's 4 goals were from corners and set pieces? So it just shows that is the unbeaten formula for them, and continues to cause problems for anyone at any level. But I think that covers everything.
They got another one last night as well, didn't they?
Ben
they White.
That was ridiculous from Sanchez, though.
Yeah,
he just let the ball fall over his head.
Yeah, he had another one of those games, didn't he? He's had
Yeah.
quite a few for
Do you know
Chelsea.
why? Because he's not very good.
Especially with his feet.
Their feet and hands, it was on Wednesday. The whole lot wasn't great, which is a bit tricky if you're a goalkeeper. You kind of need both of those. Yeah, pretty much everything on there. Man United did lose to Brighton. Whoops.
I was going to say, do you want to talk about it, Sam? Or
I'd say I don't get to usually talk about it, so we'll have a little. Go on then. I'll have a little soiree. It's obviously been a very quiet time at Manchester United. Not a lot happening. No changes of any note or anything to discuss. So, who knows? I just don't know. I'm just exhausted by it all. It's a kind of my general sense at the minute. So. Obviously, we had Brighton. Brighton have never beaten us in the FA Cup prior. So, as we've been very good at breaking all those kind of records this season, we continued that tremendous run and let them win 2-1. It was Fletcher's first game. Everyone clamouring, great. We're 4 at the back. And we were still rubbish at the back. And conceded 2 goals where it was just basic, get close to your man, stop a cross, the stuff you need to do against that level of opposition, and we didn't do it. Danny Welbeck always scores against us, and you know what? I don't really hate it because I love Danny Welbeck. So
Danny Welbeck should be going to the World Cup behind Harry Kane.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I'm dead serious as well. Like,
I agree.
I mean, Ollie Watkins can do a job, but I think I don't know. Get Welbs on the plane.
Yeah, they're not ready. They're not ready for Welbs. He gets always bags a goal. Always bags a goal. I mean, it's just for me. It was just naff defending. Then we were trying to sort of push towards the end, and it's just they're the team just not really all with it at the moment, and it's shown really when we've had a couple of players. Everyone's got players at AFCON. Ant's got bloody half the squad at AFCON this last month, to be fair. We've lost Ahmad and Mbuma and look like we can't attack. Like, it's just...
We've still got 2 there.
They're still there.
In the final. And 2 have come back injured. Yeah. Well, Masuaku's come back injured and he doesn't get a game, but like Traore has come back, who's been playing quite regularly. He's come back. He's out for a month. Still got 2 there. One of them suspended, so he can't play in the final. Just come back.
Come back, you're done.
I think the only small, from an outsider point of view, the only small shining light of the current United situation, especially that game at the weekend, was I think Kobbie Mainoo finally got a bit of a run in the team, and I thought he was probably your best player for like biggest parts of the game, and I think it's really, really important now for him because they talk about the United DNA. I don't know how much I buy into that in 2026. I don't know if you can still have the same DNA that you had 20, 25 years ago. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but I think if it is the DNA and the youth, then give him a run of games, and hopefully that will get him on the plane as well, because I can't believe we've gone from Kobbie Mainoo being England's like linchpin in that midfield to the last tournament to him potentially not playing any games and potentially not getting on that plane. So I think he gives us something as well that we probably don't have in that midfield at the minute. So I think to me, if he can stay fit and with his current performances, I would have him ahead of Wharton right now. And I didn't think I'd say that maybe a month or 2 ago, but I think I don't know. I think it's a really important second half of the season for Kobbie.
He's getting game time. There's no doubt about it. Without Amma in there, they're going to be playing him. They need to do it. I mean, sadly, that was his second start of the season, with his last one being against Grimsby. So he's not got a great start record in games. Bless him. But he just needs games. And Amorim had gone out and famously said that it was him or Bruno, and he was never going to be picking Mainoo ahead of Bruno. But now maybe in the midfield could be different.
I never understood that because you can't. That was his downfall. Kobbie Mainoo can't do what Bruno. They're not the same type of midfielder.
A lot of Amorim's problems towards the end was just being too honest with the media. It was like, at first it was refreshing, and then there was sometimes it was just like, stop saying things. Just stop saying things. You're just causing trouble all the time. But yeah, the only positive is Mainoo and Sesko scoring a couple of goals. Getting one is positive, but they're at the cup. This is the shortest season for Manchester United, 100 years, I think, because we'll play 40 games. So there'll be times where we'll have 2-week breaks. It's unheard of for us. It's crazy, but hey, that's kind of what they deserve at the minute. So we're just another reset of the cycle. And yeah, I'm sure we'll cover it more on the Tuesday when we play Manchester Derby this weekend, which I'm thoroughly looking
At
forward
least you've
to.
got a nice, easy game to get out your system, though.
You know what, though?
This is the sort of teams that we actually play right against. We've beaten them in the past.
You could go there and beat them. You've done it for the last 2 seasons, haven't you? Or something. Obviously, the last year was the Ahmad one, wasn't it? In the last minute where he put it into the empty net. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's the type of game United could turn up.
Yeah, it could be. Look at earlier in the season. We went to Anfield, and I'm thinking, good God, we are on for a hiding. And next thing I know, I'm around the bloody living room because Harry Maguire scored a winner, and it's just all my dreams have been answered. Like, things can happen, football miracles can happen. I completely agree with asking Ineos and Glazers out of that club immediately. I say, well, yeah, those Glazers, 20 years now, 20 years.
Really, that's how long it's been. Wow. I will say as well on Sunday that red card for the young lad was absolutely shocking as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's just daft, absolutely daft. And he shouldn't like bounce the ball and all that, but
it's a silly rule, isn't it? Like, I mean, there's showing consent, and then there's as soon as he did it, you went, he's going to send him off, and he felt for the kid because he was really exciting. He came on in midweek and he hit the crossbar like after a second, and he was every time he touched the ball, the crowd got up and were really with him. But you could kind of see that this was just the moment was almost too big, I think, potentially in that kind of development, and he'll learn from it. And as a young lad, it's a kick for him, particularly in the position he plays, because when you get Mbeumo and Ahmad back, you can't imagine he's going to get too many minutes out there. But he's an exciting player, and just
looks a good one. He looks a good one. You're right.
I think he'll get a decent loan move next season. I wouldn't be surprised if he can get a decent loan move next season.
He might go Bradford when they're in the Championship.
Oh, imagine.
Bit of Shay Lacey in the Championship.
I actually you're right. I thought he was good. And then obviously, we've had the news of Carrick and Steve Holland coming in. That's a very, very clever signing to bring in. Like Carrick obviously knows the club inside now, but Steve Holland, ex-England, number 2, knows it all. That's a really, really good appointment. That.
And Johnny Evans is back, and we all
Johnny Evans is back. Best known player ever to be at Sunderland.
To play devil's advocate a little bit, although it's good experience, is it not screaming Gareth Southgate in the summer to anyone else?
No. I think that would just tip the fan base off. I think if suddenly that appointment got made. He's arguing with the FA today. I think he's come out with some statements or something. I think Southgate.
He's been on LinkedIn, hasn't he? He's put something on LinkedIn, and he's saying like the director of footballs and sporting directors and this, that, and the others killing proper managers. It's like, no, it isn't. It's been around for a long time. It hasn't just come in this season, has it? You know what I mean?
No. It's the sort of statement that I like, because it's the kind of thing that Amram's just been sacked for. So I'm like, well, that's great. This isn't further away from us. Great. Keep those comments coming, Gareth. We are all for it. We are all for it. But there we go. FA Cup. I think we've done the FA Cup, have we? Although, Graham's got an opinion. He says if we can't have FA Cup replays because players are playing too many games, why is the League Cup a 2-legged semi-final? It's the least important cup for top flight. Yeah, I've never really understood the 2-legged.
No, I agree with that.
Hey ho. But there was some games. I called it Match Day 26. Not really, just kind of like part match day. Some stuff happened where it was all about home victories. Drita is our League One specialist. Sadly, the favourite League One team weren't playing, so you might have to pick one of these other lowly ones. Which one would you like to talk about?
See, for our game, I'll just say this now. I was like, it's going to get called off. And Friday, apparently, it was fine. Like, we had a local referee come down, fine. Saturday morning, nope, no chance. So it's fine. We're playing Rotherham on probably a Tuesday night. So brilliant. To be fair, I'll say this now. Thank God for all the teams that played, because it helped us out massively. Orient getting a point against Cardiff, huge for us, because we're in that fight for second. Obviously, Luton beating Stevenage run our backs. Stockport beating Huddersfield. Thank you, Claire. I'm saying that because Huddersfield lost. That's brilliant for me. That transfer they did today, blooming ridiculous. What is it? £1 million for that player from Plymouth? Ridiculous. And
Ballymumba.
That's it. That's who it is.
Ex-Sunderland under 18.
I was just like, £1 million is ridiculous. I'm not trying to go on a rant about Huddersfield, but they spend too much money and it ain't working for them. And you look at us, we didn't spend that much. and we've got pretty decent players. Obviously, I'm not going into transfers today. That is for another episode. But I don't know with Huddersfield. I think it must be time for Lee Grant, though, isn't it? Really, like, geez, I kind of want him to stay till 24th because that's when we play him at their place.
Put the final nail in his coffin.
Just stay there. We beat him again, fingers crossed, and then he can get sacked. And I don't really care after that, to be honest with you. And yeah, I think Bolton's. I know I'm saying all the pictures. I do apologise. Bolton losing as well helps us out. Peterborough have been phenomenal recently, so yeah, good win for them.
They're getting the playoffs.
You think? I know you predicted that.
I had Peterborough to get the playoffs in my predictions, and it started aging like milk. So any form of turnaround, I'm happy. I'm happy for.
You never know. There's always one. There's always one that comes through the back. Maybe it'll be that one.
I never know with League One. Like there's literally about 8 points between fourth and bottom or something or other.
It's ridiculous.
Madness.
It's absolutely insane. And Huddersfield, I mean, they were hotly tipped, weren't they, as well? Start of the season, everybody thought they were really in for it, and yeah, that does seem a little bit kind of matter of time. But of course, and Claire got a late winner. I mean, we know she loves going on the pitch. She wasn't at the weekend. We can confirm, but she could have been. She could have been with a late winner like that.
And they beat Harrogate in the EFL trophy during the week, so she doesn't like Harrogate, so she's had a really good week as well, Claire. Kyle Wotton with a 90-minute plus 6 winner. Yep.
Get in the
Go on, Stockport.
Go on, Stocky P. Aaron, anything there you want to touch on League One?
To be honest, other than Peterborough, like saving my blushes a little bit, I think everything else has been covered. And like you say, I think that the curtain is coming down on Lee Grant's time. I'd be very surprised if it lasts much longer, just purely down to what Dreety said before about the money that they've got at the disposal, the finances that they've got behind them, how heavily they were favoured to do well in this division. And I feel like I've had this conversation so many times on this podcast, but when I'm almost hypocritical of my own opinions, but when you give a young coach a crack at management, there's a part of me that thinks, depending on his surroundings, you have to give them time. But then if you go into a surroundings where you're financially backed and you're spending the money that you want to spend, I don't think that time can be allowed as much. And that's where I think I am with Lee Grant at the minute in that situation, whereas somebody like a Jack Wilshere at Luton, I think, needs that time to kind of cut his teeth because the financial situations might not be exactly the same and exactly as rich as Huddersfield. So I think it just shows the kind of juxtaposition in that sort of argument, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, fair point. Graham says, doesn't matter how much you spend if Lee Grant is still there. And says, huge result for Stockport, much needed win. And again, team that should be up there with them. So there you go. So we shall bring up the table, which of course some teams didn't go anywhere. Some teams moved and mostly it stayed the same. But it is still very tight. That is the sure thing about it. How are you feeling about, say, Lincoln up there sort of fighting? Are you...
We've got them in a couple of weeks as well. And the last time we played them, it was 0-0, and it was a very good game, to be fair. I think, I don't want to jinx us, but I think it is a 3-man race for top two. Us, Cardiff and Lincoln. I think the rest of them, maybe Stockport as well. I think the rest of them probably playoffs. It's just anyone can beat anyone in this league. That's what I've realised. And I think it don't matter how you did the previous week. Something could happen the week after and then it just changes. Like, for example, I think a few of the teams are playing against each other this weekend as well. We've got Cardiff at home, so that should be a good one. And last time we played them, it were first versus second, I think it was, and we beat them. So you just don't know. You just don't know in this league. Sorry, you don't know.
Dreety, Hadrid said to you at the start of the season that on the 15th of January, you'd have said there it's a it's a 2-horse race between 3 and Bradford are up there. You'd have had us committed, wouldn't you? I mean, what
I wouldn't have believed you.
I
wouldn't
keep
have
on
believed
saying
it.
it, but what a season he's having, like.
I wouldn't have believed it. Genuinely, I said at the start of the season, mid-table-ish. I'd be happy. Around January, I'd be mid-table-ish, just because I thought there's going to be a lot of strong teams this year. I thought we're newly promoted. It's going to be a hard league, but third is just ridiculous. And I think it's mainly down to Graham Alexander and what he's doing and the players that he's brought in. He's brought in proven winners. Like, you look at our captain, Max Power. He's just an absolute leader on the pitch, and he just knows what he's doing and how to tell everyone what they need to do and things like that. And I just think if we keep going the way we are, it's fine. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if we don't get top 2. Playoffs, I think I'd be happy with as well. If we do slip down further, it's just a bit like, you started so well, like, now it's not a good time. But I think if we get playoffs, it'd be huge for us. Honestly, I wouldn't mind it. And I just think it's just, with football, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, I didn't think we'd get promoted last season, let alone be third this year. So I'll take anything, to be honest.
Yeah. Lost the least games out of everyone in the division as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
There you go. You know.
Could happen.
Full of be facts tonight, and
he's got his factor file out, isn't he? He must have got that for Christmas, I reckon. His football.
I did.
All ready for it. There you go. Championship football next season, with Shay Lacey on the right hand side. I mean, wow, what have you got coming up next season? So excited. So there we are. Not a lot really changed. Cardiff, Lincoln, Bradford, Stockport, Huddersfield, Bolton in the top 6, and in the relegation zone, Burton Albion, Rotherham United, Doncaster Rovers, Port Vale. Hopefully, we'll have a few more games from this weekend, because the last few it's been a bit sort of slim pickings in terms of fixtures. As we talk of slim pickings, there's League 2. Again, a massive array of fixtures to discuss in League. I think we've had two fixtures, one fixtures over the last 3 weeks. So it will be nice at one point we'll have an entire tier League 2 to talk about. But
we need it as well. We needed League 2 to talk about. It's another exciting league.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to happen. Bromley are absolutely loving this excited lead. Aaron, of course, sadly, Oldham's name is not on that fixture list. Hopefully they'll be back soon. But Bromley, how are they impressing you?
Well, I think it's the age-old adage of the gap. We talked about the gap between the Premier League and the Championship being so far away. The gap between the National League and League 2 isn't different at all, really, because Bromley are the anomaly, but also Barnet and Oldham are on course to stay up comfortably, and maybe potentially one of us will push on for the playoffs, because we're only 7 points off it, and I think Barnet are a bit closer than us ourselves. So it just shows the right manager and the right play style. You can. There's not. I don't want to say there's not a lot of quality in League 2, but that's what I'm going to go with. Compared to the National League, it's very similar in terms of that. But and Woodman, what a man, what a journey, what a football club, really. And the full power to them, they deserve it. Tranmere on the other hand, obviously, continuous kind of protests against the Palacios and a real sort of downward slide for them at the minute. I think I'm just having a look at the table, because, like I said to Sam before I came on today, I'm a little bit rusty with us not having a game in 15 days. I've not really looked at many.
It's so exciting. We lost half the team, that table.
But yeah, so obviously Tranmere, as me as an Oldham fan, there's a little bit of a geographical rivalry there, and the two fan bases don't get along, but they are a massive football club. So to be languishing 17th in League 2 isn't good enough for probably what they want to achieve, and it's kind of really interesting. I think in terms of that automatic spot behind Bromley now, obviously there's the games in hand, but I do fancy Bromley to win this league. I'm being honest. I know there's a lot of football to be played, but I just think they play in such a regimented, structured way that it's very difficult to beat them. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to figure them out. I think Salford are the ones that are really interesting me this season, because we've spoke about their financial situation and their riches, but for the last 4 years it's not been happening. And yes, Dreety spoke about £1 million getting splashed in League 1. I don't know whether anyone seen it earlier this week, or it might have been last week. Graydon, the striker from Fleetwood, who got, I think it was 7 league goals so far this season, has gone to Salford for £750,000. So it just shows, that there's different levels to League Two depending on your finances. And that's why, Oldham have got the 2 games in hand now, because our game against Bromley got postponed, and then we postponed a game at home to. See, it's been that long that I forgot, but we've got two postponed games anyway, and we are only 8 points off the playoffs ourselves, and we're sat in 15th, but we are already that is 14 points off the bottom 2. So it just shows the gap and how bad, unfortunately, Newport and Harrogate have been this year. Even Shrewsbury and Crawley still in trouble, but everyone else, really, I think, we'll probably have enough about them to stay up and get in that top half battle. But yeah, I just think it just shows, really, like it's one of the most competitive leagues we probably cover, and any of that top 10, top 12 could be fancying themselves for a playoff push this season. So yeah, very exciting second half of the season coming, I think.
You've got Cheltenham at home.
Is that so? That's Saturday, isn't it? I was trying to think what the second postponed game was. I couldn't remember.
Cheltenham at home Saturday.
Yeah. So again, I mean, I don't want to count my chickens, but obviously they were struggling earlier on in the season. We went to their place and beat them 3-0. So I'm hoping we can get a result, because we made our first January signing this week, and it is Kane Taylor from Aston Villa. And I'm not just drawing comparisons because they both play for Aston Villa, but he is a attacking midfielder. And from highlights packages, however, I'm very wary of putting judgments on somebody's YouTube highlights packages, but he does look like the second coming of Morgan Rogers to my eye. So I'm very excited for the second half of the season. And if we go off transfer market and valuations on transfer market, he is valued at £800,000 already. So by both of them things, we should have a bit of a baller on our hands. So hopefully we can have a bit of a successful second half of the season. But much like Dreety said for Bradford before, coming into this division, for me, I kind of expected that Mickey Mellon side. I thought he would give us enough to kind of be nowhere near the bottom 2 and maybe, be able to push on in that second half. But I would have took this position absolutely before the start of the season. We've got the best defense in the league. We've got the best goalkeeper in the league by clean sheets. So yeah, it's been a good season. Yeah.
He's doing all right. All I'll say with highlights packages, Aaron, is I once saw one of a man that signed for Manchester United called Anthony, and he looked like the second coming of Ronaldinho. And what we ended up was more like Ronald McDonald, to be honest. So just be wary over the excitement levels.
Yeah,
you never know.
Ronald McDonald, that's class.
He was indeed. It's very twirly on his videos. It's like a Strictly Come Dancing watching him, but it's not. What
Listen, he's got a Champions League and a Premier League medal to his name, and that's not a bad career, is it?
Yes, indeed. He scored the winner against Barcelona. There you go. It's all on the way up. But yeah, there you go. Maybe an exciting one for you. So yeah, table wise, not a lot to report. Changes apart from Bromley extended the lead. 51 points. Swindon, Walsall, Salford, MK Dons, Cambridge, Chesterfield in the top 7, and it's Harrogate and Newport sat at the bottom of League 2 as we're entering into the second half of the season. And hopefully we'll get some games soon if these storms and everything else can calm themselves down so we can watch a bit of football.
We are due some more. We're due up to 31 inches of snow in the UK on the 26th of January. You know that, right? So we could have another one of these podcast episodes sooner rather than later. I was reading about it today. Manchester is also going to be one of the worst affected areas, if we're to believe it. So, yeah, hopefully it dodges us. But I think we've got another bit of snow coming in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, those City,
Brilliant.
They'll be praying for snow come Saturday lunchtime. Absolutely, just scared stiff. There you go. I think it's going to be. We're going to lose some more games. We'll get some more games. We'll have. Problem is there'll be shed loads of double game weeks when we get to the end of the season.
That's the problem, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be a nice 8 degrees on Saturday. So it should still be, even if pitches are frozen from Friday night, they should still have that 8 degrees, should get that nice and moist. That's what we want, isn't it?
I hate that word so much.
Get the pitch nice and nice, bit zippy football for Bradford and Cardiff and Oldham versus Cheltenham.
Yes,
the City derby, Manchester derby, and
shorts out weather.
Palace. Yes.
Absolute classic fixtures coming up this weekend. Lots to be excited about. But I think we've covered everything that happened, as much as happened last weekend. You know, we had all the FA Cup ones to talk about. So yeah, it's a bit of a short one, but we will be back with more fixtures hopefully when they're played. Not really under our control, sadly. So hopefully we'll get a few more. But thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you as well to our panel who will come to in a minute. But I just wanted to. It's not often I have a bit of a rant, but I wanted to have a rant because there was some horrific stuff that was sent to Shah on social media in the past 24 hours. As you know, like Charlotte has sadly had some personal tragedy going on, so we've all been supporting her and it's horrific and we're all sort of backing with her, but she had some horrific stuff aimed at her that was vile and absolutely disgusting in the kind of last 24 hours towards her. I don't usually speak on it because I don't like to give morons and idiots like that a kind of opening, but it was just horrific. I just wanted to say we're all sort of supporting and standing with Shah, that, you know, that it shouldn't be a thing, and if you're doing something like that, then you've got to be asking questions of yourself, because that's horrific. So we just wanted to send all our love to Shah from the whole of the pod.
As what is often said on this podcast in particular, hashtag don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Yes, don't be a dick, and a massive dick in this case. So don't do it. Don't do it. But yeah, on a lighter note, what you can follow in a much more positive way on social media and on people interested in their content, and if you love football, then you can find these wonderful people. Aaron, where can everybody find you and what you're up to?
So I remembered to tag my ex account this time. I've been going for like the last 6 months without a tag, and I didn't realize how you could do it. So I managed it. New year, new me. So this is my ex account at Aaron Diskin 1 on X. And so that's where you can basically just find me chatting about Oldham and my thoughts on Oldham and football in general. And then if you want to find some of the disability liaison officer work I do at Oldham Athletic, that is at OAFC-DLO on X as well.
Go do check Aaron out with all of his wonderful stuff. And where can you find the man, the myth, the legend? Where can we get you, Aaron, apart from scoring goals against Crystal Palace this weekend?
Well, I won't be scoring any, but hopefully something.
You never know.
You never know.
The window is open.
I'm always ready, fit, and available. Maybe not fit, but ready and available. I shall be, but I shall be in attendance. So there we go. And I'm at ant_Waters on. Recently returned to Twitter because we got rid of Grok. I was over the moon and then saw that ridiculous shit that happened to her. So so you can find me on there, not really speaking much, and basically just calling people out for being tossers, to be honest. That's me. Thank you very much.
This is it. And is our PC Twitter police to kick these people where they need to be kicked. Of course, the wonderful Dreety as well. Exciting games. Where can everybody find you and follow your emotions as you take on Cardiff this weekend?
Emotions are the right word. Thank you, Sam. You can find my personal Twitter at Dreety_HGT. You can find my Her Game 2 stuff at HGT_BCFC, and that's on Twitter and Instagram. Hopefully a few more announcements coming out because our dedicated fixture is around the corner. Well, not around the corner. It's a bit away, but yeah, we'll be posting at some point soon.
Around some corner.
yeah, just some point. Just have a look. And you can find my media content event. I don't know what. It's just a mess, that Instagram account, but I enjoy posting it. Media by Dreety on Instagram, where right now I'm posting EFL sticker opening because finally I've got some packs to open. So there we go.
Nice.
Exciting stuff. Do go and check all of that out. And yes, we'll shout out because I think Rebecca's Her Game 2 fixture is this weekend. At Hampton, so get yourself down there, support that if you are in the area. Or if not, you fancy, just go into Accrington.
Just go.
Do it.
Do
it.
Yeah, if you're going to the best named stadium in football, the WAM Stadium.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
What more do you know what I mean? Is it? I mean, it's just the piece de resistance of your weekend.
Yes.
Absolute
What do you want?
dream.
And they're playing the franchise club, so you know.
Oh, look at that! So much. This is it. Everyone get down Accrington. I want record.
Even the dog wants to go.
crowds.
His dog's barking, and he wants to go.
Yeah, my dog knows how much this podcast hates MK Dons.
He wants to go to Aggie. Watch them against franchise FC. There we go.
This is it. It's the place. It's the place to be. It is the place to be. But certainly, the place to be is the Absolute Football Podcast. Yes, we'll plug our socials. That's what we do. We did win Best New Content Creator at the Football Content Awards. We did indeed. We are 4 shows a week usually. It's been a bit sort of hit and miss with availability and what's been going on, and lack of games has been a slight problem as well. However, if stuff happens, hopefully we'll be back next week covering it. So do keep your eyes on. On Monday, the Absolutely Non-League show. In collaboration with NL Full Time, talking everything National League North and National League South. You can get some more Macclesfield love on that show, no doubt, next week. On Tuesday, it's the Absolutely Premier League show, although this week I think we're doing a watch-along. We have Arsenal versus Inter Milan to cover on Tuesday. So, yeah, very, very exciting there. I think I'm joined by Grimmy and Rebecca, possibly. If she is. Usually Accrington are playing on Tuesday nights, so it's rare that I have Rebecca available. So she might be available to watch Arsenal Inter Milan. On Wednesday, it is Freya and Team Chaos with their women's football show. You can catch the last night's show, which was very, very good indeed. Herself, Paul and Chloe were on that one. They're talking everything Women's Super League 2 or Championship, as we prefer still to call it, and just general women's football chat. And on Thursday, it is the Rowdy Rabble with the Lower League show. Hopefully more fixtures next week. More to talk about. We are, of course, on Thursday. You can become a YouTube member. And if you are, you get to see a special episode about Ant, which, I mean, if that doesn't persuade you to become a member, then I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. But there are some behind-the-scenes episodes. You can chat emojis in the chat, etc. And when we do get round to doing our quiz, you can send me some questions that we'll ask our guests. How exciting indeed. Yes, Graham, I did see that was. I'm not going to talk about the context of it, but go and watch the show and find out what that was all about. We are 8:30 p.m. live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Twitter, Absolute Football Pod. YouTube, Absolute Football Podcast, and Twitch. TikTok, Absolute Football Pod. Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast _ Blue Sky, Absolute Football, and Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. And that's not it this week, because there is something special, very special indeed, coming up on Sunday, which I'm just going to have to find in the background because I haven't uploaded it yet. So I just need to make sure where it is. I don't think I can even find it. Okay, I might just have to tell you about it. But myself and Ant had the pleasure last week of speaking to Pete, a Watford fan from the Do Not Scratch Your Eyes podcast. We're talking all about Watford, about that crazy Troy Deeney moment, about the plight of Watford, about the many managers of Watford, about the history of Watford. And we had a great time, didn't we, Anne? It was a real fun chat with Pete.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, you know, to have someone who was just so detailed as well in all of his answers, because he can talk for England, Pete, to be fair to him. He's such a wonderful man. But the time just flew over, didn't it? It was a really, really fun podcast. Good laugh, good jokes about. It was amazing. Really good. And, you know, get yourself watching it on Sunday. It was one of the best ones I've done for a long time.
Yeah, really enjoyed that one. It'll be out Sunday evening, probably around 7:00. Check the socials. Yes, do get that out. Even if you're not a Watford fan, it was just a fun chat and learn a lot about it. And yes, as Grimmy says, Deeney. Yes, that did get mentioned. We can confirm. Check that out, and there'll be plenty more of stuff like that coming soon in the upcoming weeks. So be excited to check that out. Thanks to everybody in the chat as well. Lovely to have all of you with us talking football. We hope you have a wonderful week. Enjoy the games. Fingers crossed that they're on and you get to watch some Aaron Oldham will play at some point. I can't guarantee it will be this weekend, but it will happen at some point.
I might have to take up the Six Nations starts next month. You know, maybe I go to rugby. Who knows?
This is it. You'll be on the new Absolutely Not Playing EFL show. Fingers crossed we get some games. Have a wonderful week. We'll catch you on the next one. Ciao for now.